I don't even know what's about to happen next, but I'm already thanking God for what he's about to do. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Tony Fergie. I want to take this time out to thank all my subscribers. The old ones, the new ones, the ones that just keeps coming back because you love what you hear and what you're seeing. Now today, guys, I'm sharing this video, even though it's multiple videos that are going around and it's not being shared enough about BBL. Those Brazilian butt lifts, those mommy makeovers, those injectables of silicone and all that stuff. Let's watch these videos together and see how it changed these lives or ended these lives. Let's watch.
Women wants to be, they want to be fuller at the top, smaller in the waist, and then they want to come out in the hips like a hourglass or a Coca-Cola bottle.
Is this what you would consider to be like an ideal body image?
Yeah. I wanted more of a slimmer waistline and a more of a bubble-shaped butt.
If you go on social media, who do people like get more likes? Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. We started looking at perfect bodies. We knew what, people like and how to get people's attention. And it was time to go in under the knife.
As social media fuels demand for a curvier figure, hundreds of thousands of people around the world have turned to a controversial surgery to help them achieve it.
Brazilian butt lift is when a doctor uses liposuction to collect fat from different parts of the body. They then transfer the fat to the hips and buttocks.
Developed in Brazil, the surgery has become one of the most popular cosmetic procedures in the world, but it's also one of the deadliest.
And so where did they take the fat from you?
From my stomach, my sides, my back, and to my butt.
Fault lines traveled to Miami, the plastic surgery capital of the U.S., to investigate what's behind a rise in injuries and deaths related to Brazilian butt lifts. Our reporting uncovered a pattern of high-volume surgical centers that appear to be putting profits ahead of patient safety.
The more they lower the prices, the more people are going to come and bite on it.
Dania Placencia died after having a Brazilian butt lift procedure.
She was perfectly healthy, 28-year-old girl. Perfectly healthy.
Family members say Dr. Sergio Alvarez performed the procedure.
According to the medical report following Dania's death, Dr. Alvarez was performing 60 to 80 surgeries per month. What do you think when you hear that?
It is an assembly line making money by the tons. Has to be stopped by the law.
In 2019, 28-year-old Dania Placencia decided to get a Brazilian butt lift, or BBL, a procedure that was growing in popularity, especially in Miami, where she lived.
Well, why do you think she wanted to get the BBL?
Sometimes we miss looking a certain way before we had kids.
After the third pregnancy, she got a little overweight. That's why she got the counseling from her friends to get the operation.
So she says here, 10 years ago versus now. So she's comparing these two photos side by side, 3 babies later. Hashtag fat girl, probs, LOL. Hashtag 10-year challenge, hashtag in the works.
As a doctor, her grandfather Marcio knew the risks of surgery and was opposed to Dania having the procedure, so she kept it from him.
You would have stopped her?
Oh, immediately. No question about it.
On the morning of May 10th, 2019, Dania arrived for her BBL at Mia Aesthetics. She sent her family this photo before her surgery. It was the last image of her alive.
The next thing I knew is that they called saying that she had a respiratory arrest. So we went to the hospital where she was taken from the clinic, but she was dead already.
This video was taken that day.
And that's when we noticed that she wasn't breathing well. And it was that moment that we called 911, I mean, we didn't wait a second.
By 11:55 a.m., Dania was pronounced dead. Dania died of a pulmonary fat embolism, which happens when fat is accidentally injected into the veins, stopping the heart.
One thing is losing your parents, your old parents, but kids and grandkids, that's a very different animal.
And I would never forget going to her funeral. I remember her daughter was still wearing a white dress, screaming to the top of her lungs for her mom.
Did you wish that you had talked to her about BBLs, or did it even change your thoughts about your own surgery?
If I would have said that, I would have been a hypocrite because I was going in the next week. She died a week before my surgery, my second surgery. And you know how it is. You pay for all that money. There's no refund. There's no refund.
And how many friends do you have that have had BBLs?
All of them.
All of your friends?
All my friends have had BBLs.
Alarmed by these deaths, a number of plastic surgery groups formed a task force to look into why they were happening.
Thank you.
This is the autopsy report for Dania Plasencia.
Yes. I witnessed her autopsy.
And was that something that could have been avoided?
Yes.
She did not need to die from having fat injected. I mean, like, that was not the proper way to do the procedure. Is that correct?
That's correct. No one needs to die from this procedure. If doctors can just avoid putting fat into the muscle, if there's no fat into the muscle, the patients will not die. We did not see this happening until the mid-2010s. And so in 2015, the alarm bell went off where certain researchers in Mexico and in Colombia noted that they had patients that had died from this procedure, and for the same cause, for a little fat embolism into the lungs.
It's not clear how many people around the world have died while getting BBLs because those numbers aren't tracked.
This is where they stuck a stick about this long into the butts, into there.
When was the last time you had a surgery?
3 weeks ago.
You just had this 3 weeks ago, the
See, I had this
revision?
one.
Why do you feel like you need to keep going back to get these surgeries?
Between you and I, it's an addiction.
It's an addiction.
It's an addiction. It's like when you start gambling, you're just not gonna stop. So I'm gambling with my body to get the perfect body.
You can see those scars right there.
In 2018, she decided to get a BBL ahead of her wedding day.
And I had for a long time been dieting and doing different things to try to lose stubborn fat, and I just couldn't on my own. So, you know, social media made it seem like it was easy, it was convenience, and it would give me, you know, those instant results that I needed.
Sheila went online and found out about a clinic in Miami called Seduction Cosmetic Center and booked an appointment there with Dr. John Sampson.
Oh, look, Valentine's special Brazilian butt lift for $112
a month.
Before and after. And that's him, right?
That's Dr. Sampson.
Sheila drove 13 hours for her surgery, bringing along her twin daughters who were 16 at the time.
Were you worried about it for her at the time? Did you think there were any risks?
We're going on a trip to Miami, that's all we think. See the palm trees and beaches, you know.
On the morning of February 23rd, 2018, Sheila and her daughters arrived at Seduction for her appointment.
When I got there, they took me to the bag and started prepping me for surgery, taking my blood pressure. They put me in a room and Dr. Sampson came in there and talked to me.
And that's the first time you had met him?
Mm-hmm. First time.
And what was your impression of him when you first met him?
Kind of seemed really rushy and kind of seemed just, you know, straight to the point, you know. And I remember asking him about lipo in my arms. He said, we'll do whatever, you know, you want to pay for. That's what he told me. I remember like going in like the surgery room and the anesthesia doctor coming in and he was like, I'm gonna be the one putting you to sleep. I remember it was just me and him in the room and I was like, where's everybody? And the next thing I knew, I was asleep.
Sheila's chest cavity was punctured during the liposuction portion of her procedure, collapsing her lung. She was rushed to the emergency room of a nearby hospital.
What was going through your mind when you saw your mom being taken out on a stretcher?
It made me emotional because when I asked, nobody knew to tell me anything.
It was scary, huh?
I feel just so hurt. It's like just a blink of the eye, I could have lost my mom. And I could have been in Miami by myself. Not knowing how to find her or anything.
Oh, gosh. A scar. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. So this is the scar that's remaining. This is from the surgery.
Sheila spent the next week in the hospital with her teenage daughters sleeping beside her.
I look at seduction as a chop shop because they definitely don't care about their customers, their clients. It's just all about the money. They want to make the fast money, and they just do it really, really quick and get you out.
Sheila sued seduction and her doctor, John Sampson. The case is still being litigated in court. In 2021, a 33-year-old woman died while Dr. Sampson was performing a Brazilian butt lift. An investigation by the Florida Board of Medicine, the administrative body which governs the practice of doctors in the state, revealed it was his 7th patient of the day. As for Dania's case, her surgeon, Dr. Alvarez, was fined and banned from performing the procedure for 1 year.
I thought I was in good hands. I thought I was with one of the best cosmetic doctors. I thought that I was going to come out of there looking like an hourglass. I don't think he valued human life.
Okay, guys, what did you think? It is really sad that people feel that they have to change, whether it's their nose, their face, their hair, and their bodies, just to fit in or just to fit into society. And now it seems like we're going through the years of BBLs and mommy makeovers and all these different type of cosmetic surgeries. Cosmetic surgery has always been around since the 50s, I think it was. They did the first augmentation, breast augmentation. And then, of course, here comes BBLs, the Brazilian butt lifts, the injectables and all that stuff. I watched this thing the other day, and this young lady was making $1 million a year by injecting at least 40 people in one day with silicone in a hotel room that took her 15 minutes. 15 minutes. So she made $40,000 in one day. And not thinking about the danger. Now, what people don't realize, there's a lot of blood vessels in your, in your butt, and you're injecting something. There is no type of ultrasound to show you where you're going, what's going on. And sure enough, you're going to inject in one of those bloodstreams and boom, something goes wrong. But guys, let's just be real for a second. Why is it that people feel the need to fit into everything and anything? Love yourself just the way you are. Don't change for anyone. If you meet someone and they don't like your little pudge, or they don't like your boobs because you have children or you didn't have children, they don't like your butt, they don't like your hip, whatever they don't like, guess what? It's on them. When they met you like that. Don't change for people. Or what I've realized is a lot of people that do these surgeries, before the surgery, they had other issues. And no matter how many times they have the surgery, a lot of them get addicted to the surgery because of the issues they had before. Some of them never felt beautiful. Some of them, it just boiled down to like low self-esteem. So basically, no matter what surgery you do, they're not going to fit in. They might look like they're beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, there's still that darkness that's sitting there that caused them to feel like they're not good enough. Now, if you meet someone that feels like they're not good enough and you're in a relationship, don't think for a second that you can change their minds by loving them or showing them as much love possible. If a person does not love themselves, you cannot change how they feel about them. So again, please like, share, subscribe. And if you're the person who don't feel like you are better than, or that you match up to, or you just have low self-esteem, try doing something fun. Having a hobby that's not detrimental to your life, because a hobby is not surgery. Now, guys, thank you guys for coming back. I hope this video encourages you to do the right thing when it comes to your body, your health, and your mind. You know Tony loves and appreciates y'all. Have a wonderful, awesome, magnificent day.